Coming to you live from the mystical planet known as Straya. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
To the penultimate final 106th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast for this year. It's not the final ever. I don't even know why I threw in with that. That was just a butchery from go to low. And neither of you jumped in and saved me, so thanks, guys.
I think you're slipping on the introductions.
You are fucking slipping.
You never
I'm not even going to argue with that.
Introductions ever.
You know what?
You need to stop. Please, for the love of Pete, either fucking stop day drinking or drink more.
I mean, how did you know? Did I?
I know you. We have done 100 of these fucking podcasts and then longer. I know you.
Get off my tits. Leave me alone. Anyway, I'm fucked. How are you guys?
I'm good. Look, I'm well and truly in the Christmas mode, man. I had some PhD work to do yesterday, and I worked to about 1 o'clock, and I was like, I'm done, son, until after Christmas. So, and then I was like, I should make a YouTube video. I was like, nah. And then I made 4 hours of Destiny doing the Forge, doing the new Forge, and then Danny was out, and I played from 5 p.m. till when did we get off?
I think it was about 11 or 12 for you. Yeah,
midnight for me. So sad.
That's a fair stint for you. You're normally flat out in about 3 hours, Matt.
Yeah, about 7 hours of Insurgency Sandstorm, which was fucking fantastic.
7 hours of Insurgency, didn't break, got Uber Eats straight to the door like a proper streamer, even though I wasn't streaming. So I'm in holiday mode now. Sorry guys, don't expect any content anytime soon.
It's tell them what you were saying before we went live, man, about you're gonna put a tweet out and say this is the period of, what was it?
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like it's the festive period, right? Everyone's off work, so they want to be consuming content, they want to be watching videos, they want to be playing games, they want to hear from their favorite content creators, but everyone else is also off from work. It's the season of feel guilty for not making content because you take time off.
I'll tell you what, like we were speaking about this prior to the cast. I'm taking a week off. The podcast has taken a week off. I feel very, very fucking guilty for taking a week off. But you know what? I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch the fucking cricket. I'm going to watch the Indians flog the shit out of the Australians, evidently. And I'm going to enjoy my time off with my girls. No, we didn't win the first test. I don't think so.
I thought we did. Anyway, that's how much I watched the Big Bash.
To the US audience, don't worry. I don't understand cricket either.
Neither do I, and I've got family members who play for very, very good sides, so I should probably learn. If it ain't league, I don't know what the fuck's going on. There we go. Jugs in chat, saving the grace of this podcast. We won the second test,
lost the first, won the second.
We were both right, Sloth, as per usual.
Yay, fantastic. This week, streaming wise, it's been a bit of a different one. So Destiny, I moved away from Tarkov, and we'll cover that. But I played Hitman, like the 2016 remake of Hitman, which I really fucking enjoyed. So it's a no guns, no explosions, no non-target killed run through it. So like it's completely melee.
Good, man.
Yeah, it's completely melee only and all that sort of thing.
Feels hit that, man.
I'm quite sure I have beamed about 150 people in that game with wrenches and hammers and fucking fish, like actual fucking like fish,
like a trout.
Just like throwing shit at people and knocking them out, and then going through giggle fits of about 10 to 15 minutes because it just fucking cracks me up. God, that game makes me laugh.
So basically a bald man going around hitting people with wrenches and fish, and this differs from your real life how?
One.
Hey.
Wasn't there like a recent Hitman that came out that was
Hitman 2.
Super under the radar? Like I haven't heard
Hitman 2,
anything about
it was definitely under the radar by IO Interactive, but I'll be playing that too. And there's a GIF of old matey. So you got to lock on before you throw something, and he's got this massive fucking briefcase, and he locked onto this dude, threw it, but this dude ran across the room. So the briefcase followed him across the room like that, and beamed him, and he fell into the fucking wall. I'm just like, I'm trying that.
Good job.
But this week, and then a couple of hours of Destiny this week. But yeah, we'll get into that. But guys, it is the end of the year, so we'll get firstly straight off the bat.
Hold on, what about Log? Have you done anything? No, all right, let's move on.
Yes, Log put out a Christmas
Nothing
video.
productive.
It's cringy as fuck.
It is cringy as fuck.
I love it.
He wanted to channel his inner Mariah Carey. Last Christmas.
Oh, you know what I found out? That's fucking George Michael, you tit. That was the other song I was tossing up doing, but I thought I couldn't put a funny spin on it. So I left it.
All I want for Christmas is you.
Yeah,
Dude, how time consuming is it to put those faces on moving bodies, or is that a program?
Oh, sweet, Matthew.
That does that?
Do you know what they are? You know where that idea came from? I was on Monday afternoon, I'd finished the song. I'd sent it to Nick, Nick that helps out with the DCP, because he's like a fucking audio wonderkind and tells me what I'm doing wrong with my mixes, which is why they're getting better. Thanks, Nick. Anyway, so I'd done the song and I was kind of sitting there going, I have no idea what I'm even going to make, like film clip wise, to go with this. And then I was sitting there on Facebook, and my sister-in-law put up a video of this fucking thing where all of the family's faces were superimposed on elves. And I went, oh my God, what is this shit? And then a light bulb went off in my head, and I realised that I could just do that with Destiny characters. And there was about eight different dances. So I went on this fucking website and just made it all, sorted it all out, and then downloaded it, and then fucking was sitting here with a calculator working out the difference in the beats per minute to sync it up to my song. So it was really not the hardest thing in the world, because I didn't actually put the faces on. But if people think I did, then I'm happy to take credit.
Well, yeah, so Jug said, yeah, that's an E-card. I didn't even think about that. And then Maximilian thought what I was thinking was like, I'm just thinking of how many keyframes you put into like Premiere Pro to like...
You got to know me better than that.
To move them on every character. I was like, it's so smooth. Because normally when you do that shit, you just make it janky as part of the like character. Do you know? It's sort of like slowly moves across.
I actually thought when I watched it, I thought it was like a really fucking direct-to-video cartoon from fucking years and years and years ago, and it was just like, dancing around and doing things like that, and then you've just ruined the magic for me. So we all know that you're house at Adobe at Premiere.
Come on, man. As if I'm going to sit here and fucking edit every frame of a clip that's a fucking bastardized version of a Mariah Carey song about loot. For fuck's sake, come on. I care about my stuff, but I care more about the music than the video part. So it's really...
Where do you record your singing?
Yeah.
Right there.
Right
in front of him.
Into this
Do you
microphone.
stand up?
Yeah. And like it's loud, so I don't have that much padding in here, but the room's pretty dead.
I was gonna say, like, you don't really hear too much echo, so it's is that Nick cleaning up the audio?
No, I just more get advice out of Nick, like what's too loud, what's too quiet, things like that. But it's I went on. He's very. I know
we're really off topic at the moment, right? But
it's cool. I mean, it wasn't like we got any mean comments last week and a thing about not talking about Destiny for fucking 20 minutes at the start.
Did we get a few comments? Did we?
Yeah, maybe, but fuck them. Funnily enough, we're sitting here and you're not, so you fucking suck it up. Sorry, you were saying, Matt? You were saying.
Well, firstly, Adobe products extremely overpriced in my opinion, and you pay an absolute fortune for a subscription. But I do have a subscription, and when you get the full suite, you get Adobe Audition, which has this spectral feature where you basically put in your audio, and it's like, I don't know, it looks like infrared for your audio, and you got a paint tool, and you can literally just like erase like the pops or hisses or static or all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, because I did a face cam and my mic really I didn't have the pop filter on, and I wasn't happy with it, and I dumped it in there, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole of like cleaning up audio.
It's one of those things. Once you learn how to do it,
it's satisfying to get like nice audio, but then I'm like, are people really going to hear the difference? I'll just put an apology in the comment section, and we'll move on. But that stuff is interesting, man.
There is some powerful shit out there, man. There is some powerful shit out there.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame that nothing comes close to the Adobe Creative Cloud, because I will be fucked if I'm paying over $100 a year for something that I'll use fucking 3 times.
It's crazy, man. It's really expensive.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, just for reference, before we get into the 12 and all that sort of thing and talking about Destiny on this Destiny-based podcast, we will be taking a week off. This is the last one for the year. Our next podcast will be recorded and streamed on the 5th of January 2019, Aussie time, 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and whatever the fuck time zone Matt's in. So if you
midday,
midday for Australian Western Standard Time. So if that's when our next podcast will be, it'll be on the 5th of January 2019. So from here, us at the podcast will probably do it at the end as well. Thank you for your support for the year. Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, or happy holidays if you do not celebrate Christmas. And I hope you're all safe and well and looking after yourselves. All right, cool. Destiny, the TWAB.
Let's go.
The TWAB this week, guys. Black Armory Izanami.
Hang on. It's the most important thing I do on this podcast, man. You got to let me ask.
Black Armory Izanami Forge trailer. And then in the side note, are any of us up to this yet? And I've written, fuck no, we aren't.
I'm about halfway there.
I'm up to it. And I can tell you, actually, because I was very aware of how much time I played video games yesterday, I can tell you how much time I spent on it.
How much?
So I started playing at 1, and I unlocked the new Forge at 5 p.m. So it took me about 4 hours.
Yeah.
But I think, also like I was doing it solo as well, so I don't know if there's only one mission that maybe changes that time frame. There's one mission that's like a nightfall, and if you die, you go back to orbit.
Yeah, I'm not up to that yet. I think it's the step after the step I'm on. So
and then I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot at solo, and I went in solo, got to the final boss, playing it super safe. Using Whisper of the Worm, basically, like, you would normally do nightfalls, clear all the ads, go find like this tiny spot in the back corner, line up the boss, wait for your whispered breath or box breathing, whatever the version is.
Whispered breathing, yeah.
Whispered breathing. Fire those shots off, clear the room again, blah, blah, blah. And then, I just got absolutely smashed in the last encounter. And then I had to, who did I pull in? Who helped me? It wasn't Sassy, I don't think. It was
Sassy's in England. It definitely wasn't.
Was it Ascension?
Oh, yeah, it was Ascension. Yeah, it was.
Oh, well, I mean, whoever they are, they weren't important enough to remember. So, just shit on the small people.
Ascension, fun story. Jay, he's from my very, very first Destiny 1 clan. The Worthy Wielders. Yeah, he's one of the OGs who knew me when I had like 100 subscribers, when I was like, oh, mate, I'm trying to do
I'm new to Destiny.
I'm trying to do a YouTube channel.
Back when you were still making clips in your onesie.
Hey, guys, welcome back to Goddamn Island Games. Oh, my God, it's so lit and fucking fantastic.
Hang on, here's me dubstep intro. Wow.
Exactly that.
Pretty much. But Yeah, the Izanami Forge. It's dropping the Blast Furnace, which is a fuck. Even playing in PvP, even playing PvP. So 4 to 5 hours to get up to the Forge. Decent grind. And then dropping shit like the Blast Furnace and the Le Monarque, and all that sort of thing, which is really, really cool to see. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, how do you guys feel about the grind for it? Because I mean, I see a lot of people pissed off with just the scope of how much busy work you got to do to get into the Forge to begin with.
Well, look at it this way: we around the time of the Destiny Community Summit, especially with some bearded fucking useless fucking Ewan McGregor looking like fucking useless going over to Bungie and putting in all the information. People wanted more grind. They wanted more. I'm referring to Mylan there. They wanted more grind, but they didn't. But now that we've got more grind, people are complaining about it. At the end of the day, it's end game content. If you want to play it, play it. If you don't want to play it, don't fucking play it. I'm going to be brutally honest with you this week. I played Destiny for 4 hours on stream, and I enjoyed myself for a little bit, and then I was just like, I'm going to go play something else.
So look, I think that's where it is to me, is that it's not probably an issue with the grind, but nothing feels new in the season, right? So if you look at how much time you actually spend doing something new in the season, right? I've probably only done the Gofanon Forge and the other Forge like a handful of times, and the rest of the time I'm just trying to get to max level, or I'm doing those unlocking quests. I actually think that unique quest to unlock the how do you say it, Izanami Forge was the best part of that. I actually really enjoyed that. I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm pretty sure it was a PlayStation exclusive strike anyway. It was the one with the giant sign. Wasn't that originally a PlayStation exclusive?
It was, yeah. It was, yeah. I know which one you're talking about.
I actually really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the challenge of it. I liked how it kicked you back to orbit. I liked how I had to be like, okay, I don't want to do that by myself. I had to reach out to someone to help me. It got really intense when he died. He's like, all right, don't die, man. I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, that was enjoyable. But to get there, it was more of the same of Forsaken. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But what I think will happen is it is very polarizing right now. I think there are people who are happy to grind and do Forsaken stuff, and that's fine. And I think there are other people, and I think probably people who are more casual, to keep them in Destiny, they need to be doing new stuff whilst grinding. Like, I would almost prefer to grind a Forge because it's new than to grind Forsaken, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think I'd probably more likely, if we got teamed up, I'd probably be happy to sit in the Forge for a couple hours and just do that rather than having to do Forsaken stuff to get high enough to do that. Does that make sense, you reckon?
Yep.
I think it's just not having that shiny wrapper. I think that's what's getting me. It doesn't have that new feel. Yeah, and I think that's okay. But and this is why I'm on the fence, because that's what a season is, right? It's just updating stuff, and it just so you have to be happy to do Forsaken. But how long do you think people are going to be happy to do Forsaken? This has got to last a year of this kind of stuff.
Hang fire, okay? Because the other stuff of Forsaken, the other, like the grinding the same content and all that sort of thing, it's there, but it's not the only thing. Like, I'm just going to reiterate that point. It's the grind of the same strikes, of the same gambit, of the same missions and all that sort of thing. Yes, it is the same stuff, but there is also new things in this content release that are bringing new people into the game and keeping people playing. Now, Log, what are your thoughts on it, mate?
Look, I've been toing and froing on it because, as we touched on last week, I had a fucking pretty shitty experience grinding for doing the stuff to get to the Gofanon Forge. Like, it was just fucking annoying more than anything. And I think there's the potential for this to be a little bit the same in that some of the quest steps that are doing the heroics and all that sort of shit. But the strikes themselves, the public events themselves are ones that you can basically force into the heroic. They're not like where people can just kill the boss before you get the chance to trigger it or whatever. So I think that in itself kind of negates that problem. The part of it I don't like is just kind of you get to the point where you're like, oh, well, I've just got to fuck around for 10 minutes until I see that particular public event pop up on the map. And I think that in itself is a bit like, you know, like I just went to the tower and fucking got more bounties or whatever I was doing, fucking around, went and did something else and came back the second I saw it was there. But I think that they've got to be really careful with that. Like the high value target thing and the Go Fanon Forge. I haven't looked at I hope there's not one of those in this fucking. I don't think there is. I think I read through it. I
don't think I had any stumbling blocks in the.
But it was just lousy. So I think that like they've got to be careful in how much they just make people wait around to do a specific thing for no reason that's really fathomable. Like if they went do 3 public events on Nessus.
That stuff's easy addressed.
But
I think.
it also in regards to the whole hurry up and wait type of situation. It's a bad thing, yes, because it gets people out of the game, and it may turn people's thought process on the game. It's like I'm not enjoying myself, but it also gives people a break from Destiny to go and play other things and then come back to it and appreciate on how good the game is. That's my thought there.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I have noticed too is that I got on and did a little bit today, and sort of a few of the clan boys around just sort of going, oh, I'm up to this bit. What bit are you up to? I'm up to that. Jump in, gives a hand, or I'm here. Join on me because I'm at this public event now. Sort of, you know, like there's definitely, if you're in that kind of pretty relatively social environment or anti-social environment, as TA may be, you can kind of make the most out of it and power through it pretty quickly with friends. So I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, in that if you're a solo player and you play by yourself and you don't have that, it's going to be a lonely grind. It's a lot of repetitive shit.
Yeah, I think it was all right, though.
Oh, look,
even I mean, solo, like, I mean, I really want to get to the raid. I think that's the thing that we're probably missing experience-wise to really make comment on. And I know there was some comments in chat about the Nobi Labs and there might be a dungeon there. And you know what?
There's no dungeon. When you start looking They've said there's no dungeon.
They have said that?
Yeah, there's no dungeon.
Well, they have said that
it's its own thing.
Is in a dungeon.
It's its own thing, but it's not a dungeon.
I'm glad it's its own thing, because I think when you look at like the whole package, you know, if Nobi Labs is its own thing, you got 3 different forges, you've got the raid in there. I still feel like there needed to be a Crucible map and a strike mission or something to round out that package.
You know, I can cop that.
Just
a Crucible map and a Gambit map.
Just to have the new flavor. I just feel like it needed that little bit of spice.
That little when you're loading in. Oh, it's the new map. Ooh.
Yeah. I just think it needed something like that. And then I don't know. I think it's also just getting used to. Like I've got so much stuff to do in Destiny, so it's not like there's not content there. Like I've got heaps of things to do. And by the way, I'm sure you guys have seen Braytech.org. Whatever that website is.
Oh, dude. Braytech. Yeah, Braytech.org. Yeah, Milk. Yeah, his website. It's fucking incredible. It is incredible.
And it shows you all the stuff to do that week. I'm like, oh my God, I got so much stuff to do.
I spoke to him about coming on, like leading into the Christmas period, about coming on the show, and because it was so all over the shop with fucking like just times and everything, I thought, well, look, we'll just get through to the end of the year, and then next year when things settle down a bit, we'll start concentrating more on getting guests on. I guarantee that he's the fucking first person on the list, because there's such a gun website, and there's that many fucking Aussies. You know, you've got Lowlines.
It's in Aussie as well.
Yeah, you got him, you got Lowlines, and you got Destiny sets, and they're all made by Aussies. So really, we just need someone to come along and make like an Australian dim, and then we fucking never have to go anywhere else.
Australian dim.
Aussie dim. Good
so
gun.
Moving on.
Ooh, shit.
Moving on to the next part. Niobe Labs is set to go live on January 8th. It isn't a dungeon. Niobe Labs isn't a dungeon. It is not a dungeon. However, as Jugzilla said in chat, Shattered Throne wasn't announced either. Shattered Throne was not announced as a dungeon either. It was not. It just wasn't announced. It was it was just there, and people found it.
Proud
was like,
of Bungie for being a bit more transparent with this,
or less transparent.
What's that?
Less transparent. It's not a dungeon, but we're not going to tell you what it is.
No. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like previously they would have just let us speculate and keep getting wound up and let us run away with our own thoughts rather than saying, guys, calm down, it's not a dungeon.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing either.
No, I mean that's a good thing.
I'm a little bit excited about it. I'm a little bit excited.
I just want to see what
it is. Yeah. It's not a dungeon. What is it?
Well, guess what? There's no way you're going to have the power level to even participate in it at this stage. So you better get back.
Hey, guess what? 2 weeks off, motherfucker. I'm just gonna have the festive period to ignore my family and play Destiny. That's the way it should be.
You know what, Matt? You know what we should do, Matt? We should gift him Insurgency Sandstorm so he comes and play with us.
I won't do it anyway. Don't worry. I've got too much to do in Destiny.
Ladies and gentlemen, Iron Banner Increased Valor begins on December 25th, yesterday, as it stands, and ends on January 1st, 2019. Double Valor will be live from December 25th, yesterday, as it stands, and to
December 25th is Christmas. It's next Tuesday.
Wait, what? Oh, fuck. I'm fine.
Future man. So on Christmas, it happens, and then it goes for a week. Good job.
Sorry about that.
It's fine.
Yeah, words. And then December 25th to December 28th, followed by Triple Valor until January 1. My mind, hello? What the fuck is wrong with it? Everything. Don't mind.
I mean, that's a podcast.
We've been wondering that for the last year and a half.
That's a podcast unto itself, man. That's not this podcast.
Mate, we were talking, so this week on my stream, we were talking about serial killers and what makes them tick and all that sort of thing, which was a really fucking interesting conversation. We were talking about BTK, we were talking about Son of Sam, John Wayne Gacy, the dude who killed all the backpackers in Victoria.
Ivan Milat.
Ivan Milat and all that.
That was in New South Wales, but yeah, it was just down.
I thought it was spread between New South Wales and Victoria. It doesn't matter.
Belangolo.
Anyway, I was really, really, really excited to learn what makes people tick and what people's mind does. And then I look myself in the mirror and just go, "What the fuck makes your mind tick, Adam?" And I don't know.
I know what makes my mind tick. This.
He's got a beer in his hands for our audio-only listeners.
Yeah.
Connection issues, ladies and gentlemen. There have been some serious connection issues, so just keep an ear out and keep an eye out for that. Starting soon, players with the most unreliable connections will receive an in-game warning. If any players receive this warning, make sure to visit the network troubleshooting guide. If the connection doesn't improve after an in-game warning, a 2-week restriction will be applied to the player's account. This may be extended if unreliable connection continues to harm other players' experience.
So basically, you can't play PvP for a fortnight. So
pretty much the entire Australian player base are going to log in and receive.
The first person I think about this. The first person that comes to mind when I read this is Tonza. Tonzach, who is one of the he's in the clan in TA. He's part of my community, part of Matt's community, part of Locke's community. Good dude. Can't get decent internet where he is. So how is it fair that he gets punished because he can't get decent internet? I don't know.
What's a response? Is this trying to get rid of like lag switching or something? Is that why this is here?
That's the way I read it. I read between the lines and I'm like, they're saying, if it's intermittent, then fair enough. You got nothing to worry about. But if it's repeated, then you're going to be banned for a fortnight. So basically you look at that and go, well, I mean, if your connection's good enough for you to connect to Destiny and play sometimes and not other times, then it's intermittent. But if you're going into comp and people, your opposition are being kicked out or whatever, and there's all sorts of skew shit going on, then it's probably like this is an automated system that'll fucking ban people for lag switching.
What if, say, the three of us are playing and we've got, I don't know, Rick when he does finally get onto PC, and we've got Rick in our team and we're playing on his servers or he's playing on ours. Is he going to get it? Is he going to get a?
You'd like to think that they'd know.
Like, well, I mean, that's automated. If it's an automated system, it doesn't know.
We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see how it plays out. I mean, of course, we'll see if there's a group of players who legitimately, live in Australia and have poor internet connection and receive warnings straight away. Then we'll be like, well,
you know what? If this comes into effect, and that's you, fucking at us, please, because I will, I will shake the fucking pillars of Twitter because that will piss me off. I'll be on rooftops yelling about it.
Over Christmas, if any of the Australians who watch, or anyone actually, if anyone who watches the cast or listens to it or anything, and they receive this warning, please at the three of us or at the podcast so we can address it.
Well, it says
we can't fix it, but we would like to talk about it and make sure that everyone has the correct information, because that's that in a peer-to-peer connection based video game.
Pretty rough, isn't it?
I mean, obviously, they're going to have a system. They're going to have a system to deal with it, because to put it out there like that and say, we're doing this, telegraph the move, they're going to have fucking fair confidence in the system that it's going to be able to handle it and not fuck people up. So
this is from security response teams. This has to be in response in competitive environment, right? So this is only going to be competitive.
Does it specifically say it's only going to be in competitive?
No, it doesn't. Well, it says, okay, we've deployed new tools from the security response team to help improve the competitive environment of the Crucible. So that doesn't mean competitive Crucible.
That could be Gambit. That could be all of the modes.
Fucking word these 12 sometimes drives me insane.
That frustrates me. That frustrates me quite a bit. That the
competitive environment. What does that mean?
Seriously, Bungie.
Be specific.
Be Vegas fuck when it comes to this. Be Vegas fuck when it comes to the story or that cutscene that we'll talk about in a bit and all that sort of thing. But when it comes to this, be direct.
Look.
Don't be vague, because people will go off the handle and just go, well, what does this mean to me? It's just that's really frustrating.
I think we probably just need to see what happens, because we're probably going off a little bit half.
We're not fired up over something that
it's not fired up. It's a wait and see situation. But in a peer-to-peer based video game, this it does not. It's just, I don't think it's a very smart idea. I really don't. Especially when I know people who have,
because you know what the response is if it doesn't work.
Oh yeah.
Dedicated servers. If everyone's like, your shit doesn't fucking work, what the community's response is like, well, regardless,
you know what comes with dedicated servers.
That's what they.
What comes with dedicated servers? The possibility of a subscription-based service just to play Destiny.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the general audience will say that.
Oh, no, I know.
If it's the right solution or not.
People who aren't in the know, or people who are in the know, or people who think they're in the know, they'll say, dedicated servers. Motherfucker, do you know how much it costs to run a dedicated server for 2.5 million players across 3 platforms? Pull your fucking head in. Shut up. Anyway,
you can bet your bottom dollar Australia is not on the fucking on the top of that list.
Fucking list. Updated 2.1.3 issues. Moving away from that, Destiny update 2.1.3 was deployed this week, which resolves multiple issues, including Scourge of the Past Emblem Triumph not unlocking properly, Harbinger's Echo Sparrow was not being rewarded to players, weapon frames being removed from players' inventory, rewards not being issued when joining an in-progress Forge activity, Avalanche Machine Gun having more recoil than intended, Season of the Forge shaders dismantling more slowly than others. A discrepancy between Rasmussen and the Satu Ghost projects from etched engrams will be resolved in a future update. And players should make sure they have space in their pursuits inventory for the Vex transponder quest item when working on unlocking the Izanami Forge. The item may or may not go to the postmaster if players have a full pursuits inventory. Yikes indeed.
If we've learned anything, always have space in your inventory.
Oh yeah, don't ever let it fill up.
That's a common bug, man.
If this happens, if this happens, make room in your pursuits inventory and visit Nessus for a chance of dropping it again. Oh boy, that's an issue.
Oh no, that's not too bad. That's the. I thought they were talking about because you get like a Vex thing when you actually finish it as well. That you've got to go put it into the forge. So I thought they were talking about. I thought they were talking about that because that's like an item as well. But they're talking about the very first part. So that's not that dropped to me within like a minute of shooting multiple enemies on Vex on. Yeah, you don't even. That's not too bad.
All right. Season of the Forge, known issues. Season of the Forge, known issues include like a diamond triumph, not unlocking properly. Veteran of the Hunt emblem, not using incorrect art assets. Radiant Matrix being pushed out of the Postmaster.
Does anyone know?
Just a picture of dick butt.
Dick butt. Being pushed out of the Postmaster and becoming unobtainable. Players being able to buy weapon frame bounties when inventory is full. Non-Forsaken players won't be able to bake cookies for Spider and Petra. The Sparrow can still be fully upgraded, but however, some triumphs won't be able to be completed. The next TWAB will be in January 10th, and this is the final TWAB.
Like a new thing, right? Like, why is that in known issues? Should they not be able to complete triumphs if they haven't paid for Forsaken?
I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Haven't paid for the annual pass, you mean?
No, this is just non-Forsaken.
If they haven't paid for Forsaken.
Oh shit, it is non-Forsaken.
That's why they can't get Spider because they don't have access to it.
Honestly, if you can't get a triumph because you haven't, and it means a lot to you, yet you haven't paid like for Forsaken, the best fucking expansion Destiny's ever seen, just shut up.
Just pay for it. Just pay for it.
I don't mean to sound unsympathetic, but I don't care.
I sound unsympathetic. Pay for a Forsaken is one of the best fucking DLCs this game has had.
I mean, it shows some good. It shows some goodwill from there. They've put it in there like, okay, you can't see Spider and Petra, so you can't fully upgrade your Sparrow, which is part of a free season. What do you call it? The Dawning, a free event, right? And so you should have access to the entire event for free, regardless of whether you own Forsaken. So they're looking at addressing that.
No, just buy Forsaken. Don't be dumb.
Yeah,
this is the final TWAB for Elliot Gray as he moves into a different role at Bungie. We appreciate all the hard work you've put into making the TWAB glorious. So that we could unceremoniously pinch the images and use them in our thumbnails.
What a legend.
Classless shits we are.
Yes.
Elliot Gray, thank you for all your hard work.
Yeah.
Seriously. Thank you.
It's probably one of the prettiest.
All that sort of thing?
Yeah, I do. It's one of the prettiest fucking websites in the world. I reckon you go on Bungie.net and you look at like the big splash screens for all that sort of stuff. Me and Matt have said it before, where we go there to check the TWAB and we're like, we missed the TWAB because we forget that it's actually the header because it's so pretty.
Yeah.
So if you're at the point where you've mastered your craft to that extent, God, I'm sure they're going to be using him well in some other capacity. So congratulations, Elliot, wherever you're off to, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Actually, just before we move into Rick's video, I saw a tweet through the week from Pope saying that he's stepping away from the DCP for a bit. Life's basically just too busy for him to be able to do that. And I just wanted to give him a quick shout out and say that I hope he finds his feet with it all. I hope I'm sure that he's made the right decision because he's made one for himself. And I think it's important that people are doing things like this in the public eye because he's a role model, whether I think he's one of the guys that probably understands that more than others, that, there's people in this community that look up to him, probably the three of us included, and being able to seriously draw a line in the sand and say, no, I've got to step away from this for a while. And it's something as successful as the DCP. I can't imagine how hard that would be to do. Yeah. But to be able to do that, I think that's the measure of the man. So, I'll take my hat off to him if I wore a hat. So I don't wear a hat, but, I'll give him a cheers. I hope it all works out. I look forward to seeing him back there at some point.
It's tough because you look at DCP and, sometimes I think like I can't speak for Pope, but this is like how I feel. Is like he has a full-time job, right, and he balances that with family and DCP, and it's like with my YouTube stuff, it's like the same thing. Like I don't want to give up my PhD or my registration as a therapist, but I also want to spend more time on YouTube, but I also got to balance like life in general. And you sort of look at all those three things with competing times and you're like, well, what do I go? You got a family and mortgage. You're not going to go, all right, well, I'm going to throw in my career as a teacher and and make money off streaming on Twitch and start from the bottom up, or so I don't know if that's what his things that he's going through, but when you look at the competitive interests and providing entertainment on podcasts and YouTube, like it takes a lot of time, and sometimes you can't make that leap into justifying spending that much time doing it, because you've got to spend time in your own life, and you've got to pay the bills as well.
The other thing too is, like, I know that me and we've all been through this at one point. I think, Matt, after you came back from the States, I'm trying to think which time it was, where literally it was at the point where me and Sloth were starting to look at you going, fuck, he looks knackered. He's spread, like, it was just like everything was all systems go, and we had a few conversations about it and things like that, where it's really hard when you're at the coalface, especially of something that you're fucking passionate about, as I'm sure Pope is DCP. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the success it is. It's very difficult to gain that perspective of, like, I need to step back from this for my own sake, whether it be for mental health or for your relationship with your family or whatever. So, big man, I hope that I hope all is well, and we'll see you back at some point. And I respect the shit out of him for making that stand. So,
hell yeah. It's easy to walk away something that's not successful. What's hard is walking away something that's fucking successful.
Oh, dude.
DCP is the most successful podcast in Destiny. So you have to imagine that's not an easy choice.
Yeah, I mean, I could walk away from this like that. Fucking, I'm done.
Mate, we might not come back after Christmas.
Yeah, it might be over.
Just play the video, you dumb fuck.
All right, this is a Man at Arms video. He sent it to me. I've watched a tiny little bit of it, and then I stopped because I thought, it's a different tone to what we're used to. But we're going to fly into it anyway, and we will see you on the other side. Hang on, I lost my mouse. Here we go.
Hi. I just wanted to take a minute to say something. I'm just getting home from work. I had some things planned for the dawning. I intended things. Things did not happen. Real life can be a motherfucker. But that's neither here nor there. In all seriousness, what I wanted to say is I wanted to say thank you to all of you who send messages over Twitter, who show up every week, who show up on YouTube, who support me, who support the podcast. And I never would have thought 2 years ago that I would be doing what I'm doing. And even though it's in a small capacity, being part of this podcast is my favorite thing that I do and the thing I'm most proud of. But the three dudes that are going to pop up after this, I am honored to say that they're genuinely three of my best friends I've ever had in my life. But that being said, there will be more sponsors. There will eventually be a Thunderlord video when I get more than 30 seconds to sit down and write uninterrupted. There'll be more true Destiny stories because I drink and run out of material on occasion. And I'm sure there's going to be a myriad cornucopia of outlandish shit that bubbles out of my psychosis. But that being said, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you and Merry Christmas.
Ah, right in the feels. Right in the feels. I think Slothy and Matt are still watching it.
Oh my God, that's fucking fantastic. That is awesome. He's a fucking gem, that man.
Some beautiful words from the hardest working member of our podcast. And the funniest and arguably the best looking.
You're not even wrong, mate.
Oh, the back sweat. Why didn't you get up while the video was on? For fuck's sake. You had a minute and a half, Slothy. For God's sake, we've got to be better than this.
Go fuck yourself.
Mate, anyway, I'm not going to finish that. Oh, well, no, it's good. It was good for Rick to put that together. I know that he and I had some pretty out there ideas to do an ad for the Dawning and something silly for it, but it was just everyone got so busy it's just not happened. But that's fine. We'll sit on it until next year and maybe get our shit together a little bit earlier. But we're into probably the biggest discussion point of the last month now, and we can talk about it because it's not actually been fucking. It's been released in game, which was where we always have drawn the line. So, if you are listening to this and you have not yet paid a visit to Marasov this week, turn this podcast the fuck off right now because it is. There are monumental spoilers. There be spoilers on your spoilers ahead.
There would be spoilers. There would be spoilers. So, guys, you have been warned. Spoiler warning. The spoilers are coming. Spoiler warning. The spoilers are coming. Go and see Marasov and then reference back to the podcast and watch the VOD or watch it on YouTube or something. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's talk pulled pork.
Let's talk pulled pork.
Let's talk pulled pork, baby.
There was so when you go and visit Marasov this week, there was a very interesting little thing on her table where the pyramid ships were. Matt, could you elaborate? Because I was actually in chat with you when we first saw this.
Yeah, so Marasov's actually not in her court. As you enter the court, to the left is where previously we saw a hologram of the pyramid ships, which was the ships from the final cutscene of Destiny 2 not Forsaken, Destiny 2 just Destiny 2, the Red War campaign, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Marasov, when you look at those things, is talking about not trusting the traveler and all this stuff, right? In this case, there is, I don't know what to call it. What do you call, it's not a morgue. What do you call a place where
it's,
like
it's a gazebo.
It is a gazebo, but what's the place where you put?
It's
like a pyre.
Altar. It's a pyre, yeah, like an altar for where they honor Aldrin's body.
Mausoleum. That's what I was
mausoleum.
thinking of.
It's like a sky burial.
That's the word I was thinking. Thank you, mate.
Because they don't bury their dead, right? The Awoken, they do not bury their dead. They leave them on their little plinth to just chill.
Well, that was weird because they actually make statues of them. There's some lore about what they do for the dead. They have the trees and the statues. That's why you have Shaw's statue. And there's actually if you do the pilgrimage campaign, I can't remember the difference now. Chat knows. Chat always knows. There's
Speaking of which,
there's a difference between planting a tree and having a statue. One of them's they've gone missing, they're not dead, and one of them's they're dead. We're a statue for them. Anyway, there's some lore on that anyway. But he's there, and you lean closer, and it goes into this cutscene, and we see a ghost enter, scan some random things, and then move over to a body that's covered up, and then brings that body back to life as a guardian. And of course, it is Prince Aldrin. Prince Aldrin being resurrected by this ghost. There's a little bit of lore, and the reason why people are saying pulled pork is there was a lore entry revealed with Forsaken and in the Ghost Stories lore book, and it describes a ghost that scans lots of random stuff like bits of metal and concrete and all this kind of thing, and has a purple reef shell in the silhouette of a flower and with silver trim. And that description is pretty accurate, or pretty close to the description of
what we see.
What you see. So most people are sort of saying, well, this is going to be pulled pork, Aldrin's new ghost, which I hope it is, because I think I couldn't think of how they could replace Kay, but I think knowing Prince Aldrin's previous past and how serious he was, even though he's not going to remember that, and I think he will retain some of that personality, and having this light-hearted, dim-witted ghost named Pulled Pork, I think could be a really cool duo if anyone's going to try to replace Cade. That's where we're at.
Here's the thing, is that a few people in your stream on Wednesday when we watched it, a few people rocked up, and there was a little bit of theory crafting, and it's theory crafting that's happened since the leak, because that is that's what the leak was that particular cutscene.
Yeah.
And a few people are saying and I actually tend to believe this. Do you remember way back in Destiny 1, prior to the release, in the wild, this is how we talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, where
the one
Aldrin was
with-
the character
people
called
is-
the Crow and whatever.
People are saying that this is the precursor to This Is How We Talk, because as a Guardian, you don't have any memories of your previous life until you are disconnected from the light, i.e., like Eris Morn and a few others that I can't name off the top of my head because my memory's fucking shithouse. But they're saying that he will go back to the tower. Ikora and Zavala will have... Well, they'll probably want to kill him on sight, for lack of a better term.
Zavala won't.
But interestingly enough, he will probably
Be sent from the tower, be banished from the tower out in the wild, and he may or may not get his memory back and take control of the crows.
Why are you saying he'll get it? Why do you say he'll get his memory back?
Well, I think that Mara is, when she returns to the physical realm, whenever that may be, she will want to not so much wage war, but try and convince people to move away from the Traveler. Trying to convince people to move away from the Traveler and the way of the light, per se. And she will try and give Aldrin Sov back his memory, so he knows exactly what he's done. But he is
dude,
now
I don't
guardian.
know. I think that's
he will have a
shoehorning in a
memory.
lot of unrelated things into a sort of convenient bundle. I don't think there's some grand scheme with the in the wild, this is how we talk thing. I think that was like Destiny before there was Destiny, but in its current form, and it's been rejigged, and it's not going to be that. I think
the reason why I say what I say, the reason why I say what I say is because. And do you remember the graphic? Now, Anon tweeted this graphic a while ago, but do you remember the graphic of the enemies of Destiny? So, firstly, we had Fallen, and then secondly, we had there
was X Cabal,
the Hive, and all that sort of thing. And there was this picture of the 6 Guardians fighting this giant robot. Hence, that being the end boss from Scourge of the Past. Kelix Prime. I can't remember what it is.
That was
and that was and then there was a pyramid ships, and everyone just sort of wrote it off as just being a like art that what's the term?
Concept art.
Concept art.
Yeah.
And then it came back. We've got pyramid ships, and we've got this giant Scourge of the giant mech warrior boss of Scourge of the Past. So I think, although a lot of the things that Bungie has done in regards to this game may or may not have been on purpose, but I think they're being very vague and putting out trailers and art and all that sort of thing to be very vague so they can introduce it over time, maybe Destiny 3, Destiny 4, like the whole 10-year plan, if that makes sense.
I'll put it this way. If that is going to be a line that Uldren drops, we better not see him again for 3 years. Because I don't want some recently resurrected dickhead to be out in the wild and then be like, in the wild, this is how we talk. I'm like, fuck off, mate. You're basically a newborn child. I've defeated gods. Don't tell me how we fucking talk.
No, it should be a very long, it should be a while, like a while, and we receive, so maybe pushing out to Destiny 3, like DLC 2 Destiny 3, if it makes it that far, that we see Aldrin Sov and he's regained power of his crows and he's out there with Varix out there, doing what he does. And he's feeding us information about the Traveler. Maybe the Traveler isn't all that we see. We know this. The Traveler isn't all what it seems.
Here's the thing that I think about Aldrin and why he is the perfect character to bring back as a Guardian is that there's plenty of cards now that talk about ghosts that can detect personality traits, essentially. And Aldrin has some of the best personality traits for a soldier. He is like honorable to the very end, or
fiercely loyal.
Loyal is probably the word I was meant to say. He is, so loyal to Mara Sov and the Awoken that my thing would be that he would be his loyalty would convince the Vanguard for him to be in the tower.
I think the other thing too is that now that we understand that Riven was behind it, you know, like there's a huge. I mean, Aldrin really didn't do that much of his own volition that was dickish. Like, yeah, he's always been a dick. But, I mean, are you going to stand up to the mental manipulation of an intergalactic space dragon? I'm probably not. One that can change itself at will and grant any fucking ridiculous wish, like, you know, getting the fucking Crucible Master in for a fucking booty call.
Think of it this way. Think of it this way, is that, yes, Riven can do that and all that sort of thing. But we have been given all that we wished from the raid.
Oh,
in regards to loot and all that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. We as Guardians, there is a card about this, Matt, and please tell me which one it is. But Guardians, like there was an Awoken. He died, got brought back as a Guardian. Before he died, he was a father. He was very loyal to the Awoken. He was this, that, and the other. He died, came back, and all he cares about is the loot. Now, you probably, like, all he cares about is getting shiny things. I can't remember the card, but I have seen it. I've seen you reference it.
Yeah, there's one that's like that pretty much has Riven say, like, you know, I gave you everything that you wanted in that moment. And it's sort of referring to the defeat of Riven. I think the people forget, like, Riven speaks to you, like, after you defeat Riven, after you defeat her. Like, she still speaks to you.
She's like,
then she says, we've forged an ancient bond. Like, they're not dead.
Do it for the sake of this, and this is just me sort of shooting from the hip with this. Do we want to, like, each go around and think and give our opinion of what we think is going to happen, or where we think this is telegraphing?
Yeah,
so is that what you think will happen? Like, are you happy to have that be what you put forward?
I think that he will go back to the tower. Zavala will try and honor the dare, and Ikora, the Vanguard, will splinter any further than it already has. Zavala will honor the dare, and Ikora will, for lack of a better term, threaten to slit his throat in his sleep and destroy his ghost and make sure he goes back in the ground. And so he'll be banished from the tower, not to be seen for a very long time. That's my thought process on it, and he will return with the whole the armor set. So when he woke up, he was wearing the armor set, the same armor set he was wearing in This Is How We Talk in the Wild. He was wearing the same armor set.
Okay.
So I think that we won't see Aldrin again until Destiny 3. And he will come in a time of crisis and maybe Dark Guardians and all that sort of thing. But he will return in Destiny 3, and he may or may not have his memory, and he will be out in the wild. Yes, and that's why he's been able to stay out there that long, because he's able to manipulate Pulled Pork to continually res him when he, you know, cops multiple Ace of Spades shots to the chest. Maybe, I don't know. So that's my thought. That's my thought process there.
I think we're coming at it from a different perspective. I do agree that he'll probably rock back up at the tower, and there'll be some kind of like moral schism between the Vanguard. But the thing that's most interesting to me is the fact that Pulled Pork was gifted a ghost shell that is like has the reef written all over it. Basically, it's basically like if Marasov was going to dish out a ghost shell, it would look exactly like that. So. Yeah. The thing that I'm kind of most interested in what was the precursor to Pulled Pork turning up where Aldrin was dead to begin with? And he seems like a pretty, for want of a better term, feeble-minded little ghost going around scanning bits of concrete and shit. So if he's suggestible and this nice blonde lady goes, guess what? I've got a nice little shell for you. Here you go. You should go over here and scan the bodies over there, and you might find someone that you think, you know, worth resing. Well, oh, no worries. Oh, here I go. I'm off. So then you've got.
Might feed into that.
What's that?
The last wish, or the unknown last wish. The Wall of Wishes.
Ooh, yeah, true. It might be the last wish, right? Like that might be the last wish. But the other thing that I'm getting at is like.
Because that would be the trickery, right? Because imagine this, right? This is exactly what the deal with the devil is. This is the deal with the genie that like manipulates your words. Marasov wishes for her brother back. What better way to return him than return him as a fucking guardian so he doesn't remember her? And then everyone hates him. So it's like the best way to manipulate a death wish.
Yeah, see, like, and again, like this is interesting the shit out of me now because we're all like I read that the other way, in that like maybe this has been part of a much larger overarching plan, and now she's functionally immortal because she's got a throne world, which is basically like the resurrection equivalent based in darkness. She's now got a buffhead brother, ultimate sidekick, that is immortal because he has a ghost. And like, he's got a ghost. It doesn't mean he has any loyalty to the Vanguard or anyone at all. He may well turn up and Shax rips his fucking arms off. I'd pay to see that. But now you look at the amount of power that both of them are fucking starting to amass, and whether or not she's been playing a much larger, longer game for, I mean, that's basically what her whole character's built on, right? Is this ability to be, she's by far and away the smartest of her own people. She's more powerful than her own people, and they're more powerful than us shit kicker guardians who are all, resurrected and told what to do. So I think that there's a fair chance that him being rezzed isn't just this kind of like innocent ghost finally bumbled into the one person he thought he should resurrect and would be his guardian. I think there's a larger thing at play. And whether or not that is, Aldrin could be he could end up being the most important character in the fucking franchise, right? Like, he could very well come back and be, he'd be the most obvious sleeper agent ever. So I'm going to try and discount that. Like, he's not going to be like, oh, guess what? I'm a good guy, and then be a dick, because everyone will be like, wow, I saw this coming. But
yeah, I saw that coming from a mile away. What if, in regards to the Destiny 3, so I was actually thinking about this as well. I was having a chat to a couple of boys in TA there before. What if we, like in Destiny 3 or the next one, it goes into a true MMO form? So in WoW, there was For the Horde, For the Alliance, For the Horde, by the way. What if in Destiny they go with light side, Guardians on the side of light, Guardians on the side of dark? The darkness, as in all of the enemies around it, including the pyramid ships. And then you've got the side of the Awoken, as Mara Sov commands an army from her throne world with her brother, who is, as you said, immortal as well. And we are forced to choose, or we start off on the side of the light, as we always have, and then we have several things enticing us to other factions. And the faction wars do start up again because the Vanguard is splintered. So you've also got the faction wars of the tower.
Oh yeah, I think I would love for there to be a mechanic of properly picking a side and tying it into faction wars or light and dark. I think that would be really cool. Not that I have any more time to have multiple characters aligned with different alliances, but
but when you think about it, like, it doesn't necessarily need to be two factions pitted against each other. And I think that's the way that people always read it, is that you could choose, okay, here's this overarching big bad guy, which, like Savathun, all that. That's happening. That's on its way. The forces at play. It's not about, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna choose to fight with Mara against the Guardians. It could just be simply, well, no, I'm a soldier of this and I am supporting this cause, rather than, like, ultimately then you'd be able to do all the same sort of content, just from a different sort of overarching perspective.
So I have another question, Ryan. This sort of reminded me from Mr. Green that just said in chat, like Osiris would have seen this scenario. But along those sort of lines, right, we see this in the court. Do you assume this has already happened, or is this like a vision of what is to come? Like, in
regards to when you lean in, it is a vision of what's to come. I can guarantee you.
You reckon this hasn't happened yet?
This hasn't happened yet.
What did you think?
I reckon it has. I mean, the way I read it, I was like, it has happened. It's just happened. Well, like, it is happening. Like, I mean, when you think about it, he's in the dreaming city. He's in this fucking 3-week loop anyway. So it's just happened. Whether it's down the road or not, it's just happened. So
either that, or we're looking at the past and it's happened. It happened.
So do you reckon this will be? Do you reckon this will be part of the loop? Do you reckon this will happen? Do you reckon this is something that is happening and unhappening each week?
No, I think that now he's back. but I don't know. I mean, the other part of it that really kind of makes me like headspin about it is that Mara's gone. It's like
that's exactly what Infamous.
That's deliberate. So she does, because you could not have Mara in the throne world and not have her make comment on you seeing that. If she was there, she would have to say something about Aldrin. So I think that's like, fuck it, get rid of her because we don't.
Well, that's a very valid point by Infamous 525 in the chat. Mara not being in the court is what makes me believe it just happened and she's on the run.
Yeah.
Yeah, or she's gone to get him, or
happened, yeah.
But Matt raises a valid point. Like, imagine if you just walk in and Mara's just there in a
business as usual.
An infinite loop of the fucking confused Travolta, fucking him like, just like she couldn't be there. You're right. Just what? I don't know. What do you reckon? What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Like, let's give Matty. We've had our turn of peddling shit.
When I look at pulled pork and Aldrin, I think there is too much potential in characters and writing to get rid of them. So I think whether it's in game or just within the lore, I think we'll be seeing a lot more of pulled pork and Aldrin. I think that duo could potentially be gold, and from a game development point of view, they can reuse Aldrin in a completely. They literally just reset the character, and I think as much as people hate Aldrin, that's what makes a movie good. That's what makes video games good. I mentioned
the protagonist.
Yeah, I mentioned
the antagonist rather.
Yeah, exactly, an anti-hero, right? I mentioned this on on stream. You look at Harry Potter because I love Harry Potter, and everyone hates Umbridge, but that's what makes it so good. Like everyone fucking hates that character, but I think it's a great idea to bring back a hated character with no memory, partner him with a dim-witted ghost. So that seems too good to be coincidence.
The other thing too is he's he's just woken up and he's fucking Jason Bourne, man. He's got no recollection of who he is, but he's an absolute weapon. You look at it, and there's examples of characters like this standing in the tower right now. Look at the Drifter. He was reborn and went, "This isn't for me. I'm fucking out." And that was, it could go anywhere. I really do think he's going to turn up at the tower.
So I think that's why I'm probably leaning more towards that. He will return, and it's great marketing. It's great. People are talking about it. When he comes back, people will talk about it. People want to know what happened in Forsaken. People want to work out the backstory. I think it would be too much of an opportunity to make that cutscene to not bring him back. From a logistics point of view.
So, Matt, I seem to remember you saying something, whether it's a video that I mistakenly watched of yours or something like that. But the ghosts, they talk to each other.
Which in Ghost.
All of the ghosts talk to each other.
So
do you think Pulled Pork may tell Aldrin about his past because he's feeble-minded, and the Aldrin would probably go, "Who am I? Where am I? What have I done?" And the Pulled Pork goes, "Well, sit down right over here. Let's play this projector." And there it is.
I was trying to think of in my head. I was like, "There's no way Pulled Pork does not know of the events of Forsaken."
No.
Even if he is extremely stupid, which he seems to be. I feel like
I like him as much as he's a fuckwit. I feel for him.
Well, there's a whole bunch of firstly, there's Ghost Networks, the Spectral Network.
Yeah.
I don't think Pulled Pork was part of the Spectral Network because he wasn't really that kind of ghost, but there's communication between ghosts that are unpartnered and the Vanguard. Pulled Pork does seem to be on his own little destiny, his own little path. I can't imagine him just plodding along and, how the fuck did they go between planets? He went between planets without a ship. How did it go through that? I think they hitch a ride. I think they hitch a ride, right?
No,
So
he's
he
just
would've-
floating.
You reckon he flies between planets by himself?
It's a better
Actually-
explanation than having his fucking thumb out on the fucking just above Earth, going, "Hey, do you want to give me a lift to Nessus?"
I mean, admittedly,
No,
he does
actually-
read as if he'd be like the kind of character that would do that.
I actually think I've read about ghosts hitchhiking. I don't know. Anyway, so I think it would be extremely unlikely that Pulled Pork didn't know that Aldrin killed Cade. So I think that is such a if you look at all the potential writing opportunities for Pulled Pork and Cade, you have Pulled Pork educating Pulled Pork and Aldrin. You have Pulled Pork, telling Aldrin about his past, trying to update him about what it was to be an Awoken, trying to update him about why the Awoken hate. That to me, you could use as a mechanism to explain the questions of the Awoken, right? Or to clarify certain parts of the Awoken. Aldrin be like, "Oh, so who was the first Awoken?" And Pulled Pork might have a version of events about his sister. Well, I heard your sister was the first Awoken, or I heard you had your original home planet, and that's what the Dreaming City's based on. So Pulled Pork could be a really good mechanism to explain stuff to Aldrin.
I just have this thing of like he's just Pulled Pork seems like such a dim-witted shit. And at that point,
he might get everything wrong.
Yeah, but Aldrin like has no idea who he is, so he's just woken up and there's this buffhead leading him around. And then they go, "Oh, let's get in the ship. We've got to go to the tower. I finally found my guardian." And literally, Aldrin's first experience of being a guardian is turning up in the tower and everyone going, "What the fuck? Who?"
Why are you alive?
Yeah. And I
when
honestly
you think about it, like the more
it could
you
be
think
funny.
the more you think about this, it's like, see, we're not going to get. This is an interesting thing, right? We're not going to have cutscenes with seasons, right?
We just had one.
That's why I'm thinking Destiny 3.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm like. He is such a big character that you can't just put him in you can't just dump him in the tower like Ava.
No,
So
I don't think. But I don't think it takes that much either. I don't think it takes that much either. Like that clip went for 45 seconds or whatever, if that, probably 30
With
seconds.
Ada?
No, with Pulled Pork, with him being resurrected. And as much as there's no dialogue in it, there's a million words said and a whole door of opportunity opens with it. I don't think
you're just saying that if they did that cutscene, they can add one to other seasons.
Yeah, and I mean, they said their focus isn't on the big cutscenes and it isn't on the story-driven stuff and all of that.
It doesn't mean they don't exist.
And it doesn't mean they're just going to wash their hands of it. I think that this was a great example of how they can like get absolute bang for their buck out of a very small bit of content. Like if they just have that,
that's my thoughts as well.
if they just have that, like him being reintroduced to the tower or whatever, as a cutscene that goes for a minute and a half, and then you can go around and talk to all of the fucking NPCs and build out their perspectives from that. Like you don't want like everyone standing in a room talking at length about how they feel about it, because that's probably something best. Like they've got ambient dialogue anyway. You're going to pick up on it. So
what if they don't do anything in regards to this until we've gone through until we see what happens in Penumbra, and we have the season.
I'd bank on that.
And then there is nothing. We don't have anything. We don't hear from Aldrin. We see what's coming. So we see in let's say for season of the Joker, we see the re-emergence of Dark Guardians again, and then that's what that's about. And then in Penumbra, we see the arrival or the pending arrival of the pyramid ships, and everything's starting to fall to pieces, and the Vanguard are splintering even further to the point where there may be separate factions in the tower, back to the faction wars and all that sort of thing. And then in Destiny 3, that is when Aldrin is reintroduced, and maybe or maybe not, we see some lore and we see some collectibles around the next couple of seasons that show Aldrin going from place to place, and Ikora's hidden his about Aldrin being resurrected, but he's not in the tower, so they're hidden and trying to find him and all that sort of thing.
You're convincing me, and I think I'm leaning towards that because Matt Grundy also put in the chat as well. Might not even go there, and I just had the thought, right? Pulled Pork didn't realize who he revived, right? He went up to a body that was clogged. And he's the kind of idiot. He's the kind of idiot that go into the Dreaming City and not put 2 and 2 together and not be like, oh, this could be Aldrin under this blanket, and like not realize that. Scans the body, sees all these positive traits. Oh, extreme loyalty. This is going to make a great guardian, right? And remember that it's Ikora's ghost talks about how ghosts complement guardians, right? That their weaknesses and strengths complement each other. Aldrin is incredibly intelligent, ran like a spy network. Pulled Pork's an absolute fucking numpty, right? So he's gone, wow, we really complement each other, right? And he's like, oh, all these good traits, loyalty, bull, revive, and then the cutscene ends. Okay.
Yeah, so they probably cut off the 5 seconds where Pulled Pork's gone, oh fuck.
and then all you have to do is maybe they meet up with Mara. Maybe they go off into the wild, and you don't have to introduce Prince Aldrin for quite a while.
No,
we know
that he's. I can't bring you back to the tower. We cannot go back to the tower because that would probably be a more logical response.
Do you listen to this, but right? I'm just thinking about this. The place where we fucking come into this information, Mara knows about this because it's in her fucking throne world. She's gone. Where's she gone? Probably to get Aldrin. So he's not going to have the chance to go back to the tower because by the time he gets on his feet, she's probably there and like she's going to pick him up, tell him exactly who he fucking is. And now Aldrin's a guardian. What subclass do you reckon he's going to be? I've already made my mind up about this and I'm completely immovable.
Hunter.
Yeah, he's definitely a hunter. Because have you noticed that like none of the good characters are like hunters? I mean, we had Cade. They've killed that off, so they've ended it.
Reference every cutscene he's been in. His hand cannon's been on his hip. The Warlocks and the Titans have the hand cannons on their back.
And he's
hunters have their hand cannon on the hip.
And these gauntlets
spine.
Don't touch me.
Oh, they are, aren't they? Yeah.
D1.
Yeah,
they are.
Or they're the prodigal gauntlets from D2.
So we can confirm that Aldrin also has relatively good RNG too.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, and he likes knives.
Yeah, true.
Knives, hand cannons.
I mean, it makes completely sense. And he's like the spy, sneaky sort of character.
And he's a fucking bitch.
And he's likely to be like a lone
and all
wolf,
hunters are
like a lone wolf, arrogant.
Yeah. I mean, you can really characterize very strongly. I'm so glad I'm a Titan. There's no bad Titans. Yeah. I mean, there are literal bad ones, but
and the cloaks and all that sort of thing. I mean, if he was a Titan, he may have been a better person, but he's a hunter, so
he's definitely a bad guy.
I'm guessing he's probably a blade barrage hunter too, and that's the worst part about it all.
Do you know the image I had is if he returned to the tower? I just had that image from Game of Thrones when they like tied Jon Snow up and everyone gets to stab him. Like, Prince Aldrin's just like
for the Vanguard.
Yeah, he's just tied up in the middle of the courtyard, and then every guardian can go past and slice him up, and then the ghost has to res him again, and he's like, next one, and then everyone just gets their anger out, and then he's resurrected, and we can start anew.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine he'd be a very deeply traumatized person by that point. He's probably not going to have too much engendered loyalty left, is he?
What did you do today? 2 million guardians came through and diced me up with their swords.
Press X to stab.
Like a lot of people are really upset by this. Like they hated Aldrin, and I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it on streams, and it fucking. It's such a smart play by Bungie. Fuck, it's a smart play. It is so, like it's exactly the same with revealing that Aldrin killed Cade prior to the release of Forsaken. It not exhibits. It forces an emotional reaction from people.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's always complaining that Destiny's bland, and now you got people that are polarized by it, and that's what you want from a story.
Legitimately, hate, and I mean pure, unadulterated hate.
Aldrin, yeah.
The voice actor for Aldrin being cheeky
cool,
on Twitter.
Yeah,
he seems so cool, and he's just like, "I'm back, baby." And he's like,
Jack is back.
Jack is back, and it's just like
he's a Jack in the.
That's funny. That's really funny. I'm really
card deck.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. I really like it. I like it.
What a great conversation.
No, guys, it very fair. Like, I really enjoy the conversation. Guys,
it's good to be able to talk about it when we actually could talk about it, and you know, it's been pissing me off for the better part of a month now, I guess. In that we've had like this massive bit of information that 2 out of the 3 of us already knew about, and we were like sitting on it, waiting to be able to talk about it at a time that was really. And ultimately, I'm glad we have, because we've had sort of time to digest it a little bit, and there's been more information come out since and help make sense of it. So I'm just, it feels good. It feels like a weight off the shoulders to be able to just get together and be like, what the fuck?
Before we have a chat about some other things, ladies and gentlemen, if you think we've missed anything, or if you want to add to the conversation, please tweet the podcast, DDU_podcast at Twitter, at Marlin Games, at LogPowerSlave, at Realtime Sloth, or in the YouTube comments. Make sure you let us know what you think of our theories. If they're bullshit, or if you kind of subscribe to them, or if you have your own, please let us know. So a few things this week are just going away from Destiny, and yes, I am going to talk about it. Log, go fuck yourself. This week, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been keeping up, so Escape from Tarkov has been a big thing, at least on my channel.
This
Matt
is
and I
what I
played
thought
it
you were going to talk about.
I don't even know what the fuck you were going to think you were going to talk about. Escape from Tarkov, a game by Battlestate Games, that I've really been enjoying for the past 10 months-ish. On stream, off stream. Matt and I have played it before. He enjoyed it and all that sort of thing. I still think the game's really, really fantastic. But something had happened this week where if you follow me on Twitter, you would have seen that the developer behind Escape from Tarkov, Battlestate Games, threw 49 DMCA takedowns at a YouTuber called Eroctic, because he reported in 2 videos. That many people's personal information, account information, all that sort of thing was leaked. I don't know about that. I think it was that's on his part.
I've looked into that kind of stuff, and I mean, you could go there, but really, it's the issue is more than that now. It's
absolutely,
regardless of what that was. This is an example of basically a game company didn't like what someone said on YouTube, and they abused the DMCA. Basically, copyright striked 40 plus videos rather than taking proper action.
They took down 49 videos. Now, the 2 videos that they took down for what they could have been construed as defamation. I don't agree or disagree with that. That's just whatever. But the 47 videos that talked about the pros of the game, the cons of the game, like fair and reasonable criticism of the game, exactly like the same that we do here about Destiny and all that sort of thing. They DMCA'd 47 of his other videos for negative hype.
Yeah, that was their
negative hype is what they said. Yeah.
That was their actual words.
They were the actual words of it.
Have they got a fucking Reddit for this shit?
I can find the original post.
Oh, mate, go on fucking Destiny the game. You want negative hype? Jesus Christ. Yeah. You don't even know the negative hype. We were born in the negative hype.
We were born in the void between good hype and negative hype.
So we took they took all that they took all those videos down for negative hype, and the reaction by the Escape from Tarkov community has been vicious, for lack of a better term. They said that they're not going to wield the DMCA as a weapon anymore.
They just wanted to make an example of him.
They wanted to make an example of Eroctic. Now, guys, if you're not sure what the DMCA is, it's the Digital Millennial Copyright Act. It is there to protect people's IP from copyright. So, because he's here, Logs, as he's explained it to me quite a bit, the parody songs that Log does, even though they are parody, he has been gotten twice now.
Oh, they're all subject to copyright, man. They're all subject.
They're all subject to copyright, and if so, the people who produced or the music label that did "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana, I can't remember who it was, BMG or whatever it was. Yeah. If they wanted to take down Log's video, they could, because by rights,
it's their content, and that's fine. I'm at peace with that.
But Battlestate Games has done what a lot of indie developers have done for people who are who criticize their games, and they've gone and used the DMCA as a weapon on YouTube. I personally on my stream, I will not play Escape from Tarkov on stream anymore, because fuck them. I will absolutely not be promoting their game on my channel. I'm a small channel, I know this, but I will not be promoting their game on my channel anymore until they fully and wholly apologize to Eroctic and the Battlestate Games community, the Escape from Tarkov community, for effectively being a cunt.
I mean, there we go.
That's one. That's the only one I've done all podcasts.
Oh no, and it was probably worth it, to be perfectly honest, because it is really ordinary kind of behaviour. And I guess this harkens back to when, a few weeks ago we were talking about the Article 13 shit at the back end of a podcast, and the real concern with copyright is not the appropriate use of it. It's this kind of when it's wielded as a weapon to censor things, and that's what scares me in the context of the games industry, is that, Article 13 is more related to music, sure. But there is an element of it where you look at Nintendo and you can't do fucking anything with Nintendo shit because they keep that stuff strangled. And once people start to realize, once game developers that are the big corporations, and I'm going to steal Sloth's thunder and say, like the EA games, the Activisions, once they realize that they can get in there and they can monetize that shit and say, we either want to cut or we want people to pay for licenses to be able to make videos that we can revoke, or it's all subject to DMCA, then that's a slippery slope, because it's basically this is an attempt at censorship, for better or worse. That's the part of it. It's not an attempt.
It is censorship.
It is. Well, yeah, right.
It's not an attempt. It is fully and wholeheartedly censorship. And you really, Battlestate Games, they're a very small developer and they rely on the goodwill of the community. And you, my friends, have legitimately you have set off a chain of events that a small developer may or may not be able to come back from.
Yeah,
because people will see this and they go, well,
you have to spend, if you look at the reach of all those small channels put together and all the big channels put together, Tarkov is in a bloody good place on Twitch, man.
Oh shit, yeah.
In regards to viewership, I mean, you're not looking at for a small developer or for a game that's still in, is it alpha or beta now?
Beta. It's in beta now.
Beta. It was really looking promising for this game. If they could, it had the makings of what PUBG did in the very beginning, right? And
it's not a BR, just for reference.
It's not a BR, but it has that hey, there's nothing really filling this gap for, a hardcore military PvP shooter, whatever, right? And I don't think they appreciate that value in marketing. And I think
really don't.
They're going to appreciate it now.
No. So let me put it to you this way. The two biggest Tarkov casters in Australia pull in. The first one, Pestily, he won Breakout Content Creator of the Year at the Australian Game Awards, which is fucking fantastic. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
He's a former military man, so I've got nothing but respect for him. He pulls in 800,000 plus viewers per cast. Slush Puppy, same thing.
800,000.
800 to 1,000.
800 to 1,000.
Like
per
800,000
viewers per cast when he's playing Tarkov, especially when he's doing his 48-hour level up to level 40, top of the thing. And these are the biggest dudes. And then you've got people like Clean and Deadly Slob and Cotton and all those guys who pull in massive numbers. And even the smaller casters, some of my best streams, have been with Escape from Tarkov. I'm fucking terrible at the game, but people love it because it's something different. And now I think a lot of people are going to be put off and really going to be very, for lack of a better term, fucking angry that Battle State has it decides to do this.
You look at it this way. Look at it how, and bring it back to, like our backyard in Destiny. Look at the things that Bungie did early in the life cycle of Destiny 2 that generated serious ill will. And there's parts of it that they're probably not recovered from yet. And they've worked there.
And they didn't do censorship. They didn't do censorship.
No, they just copped it.
Things that annoyed the community. And Bungie still hasn't recovered. It still hasn't gathered the goodwill that they had.
And they have
at
like
the end
a
of
publisher
Destiny 1.
backing them, and they have all
Yeah.
the nostalgia of all their previous published games and good bank of goodwill.
And Forsaken, that is the best Destiny that is Destiny ever Destiny, in my opinion anyway. Fight me.
Hey,
I'm very much in the same boat.
Look, while we're on different topics, I know this is not on the run sheet, but I feel like we're winding down. I want to chuck this in here, right?
Go for it.
So Fortnite being sued by what the Carlton dance? What's his name?
Alfonso Rivera. I
Do
think
you think Destiny's quietly sweating about it? It's because Destiny does the same shit.
Okay, so I was talking to a few people. I've spoken about this a few times with different classes, friends, and all that sort of thing. Backpack Kid, that dance, you weren't the first to do it. That has been around for years and years and years and years. You got popular doing it by performing it with Katy Perry.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you brought it up, Sloth, because Backpack Kid has been a long time viewer of the DTU.
No, it's like it's not.
Sorry, I'm taking a piss.
Cool your fucking head in. And Alphonse Rivera, whatever his last name is, the Carlton dance. Yes, that is something that you did on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the producers of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That's true. I would agree with that.
Anything that you do on a TV show is like while you're doing TV stuff, or when we were down in Gambit and Log said something or Matt said something that was very muchly very funny, and it was something that a lot of people in the of that event took and people and ran with it, and it got really, really popular. It wouldn't belong to us. It would belong to Activision. It would belong to Bungie.
I agree with that unless they had a different kind of contract.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. Actually, I didn't think about that because, the way I think about ownership of that kind of stuff is like, and I think about it a lot with the writing and with artwork, because obviously I work with artists, and I feel like if you weren't going to do it, and the only reason you did it because you were employed or paid or contracted, the easy solution is you don't own it.
No. As Nick has put in the chat, it is a class action suit, but I really honestly don't think.
Look, they're
if
just
they
going for
win,
settlement, right?
If they win, if Alphonse Rivera and the
is that his name?
I think it's Rivera.
Can we just call him fucking Carlton? Because
Carlton. If Carlton and Backpack Kid win that class action, and the dude from Scrubs that did the dances there, because Fortnite, a lot of dances, a lot of memes, and it's all taken from popular content. Ribeiro, thank you, Nick.
What can we prove that we own? Well, guys, what do we own that Fortnite use? Let's get a settlement.
If they win, it sets the precedent for many other games and other pieces of content to go and do that as well. So, like Darwin said, it confused Travolta. Like if this becomes
well, that was like
if this becomes part of like if this becomes the precedent, will I be sued by John Travolta by going like this and doing the confused Travolta?
Wait, wasn't it Pepe? What was the meme that someone tried to license?
Oh, Monka S. Pepe, like the Pepe the Frog.
Yeah, wasn't it Pepe the Frog? And what happened with that again?
Oh fuck, I can't even remember. I can't remember. But like people will try.
It's interesting because then you start looking at like licensing memes and like this internet culture and like it's.
Well, licensing memes are like this. This goes back to Article 13, where you can't meme or anything like that over there anymore. And is this what the future holds? If you come up with something, you have to trademark it and copyright it.
Jesus, what is this podcast becoming? We always end up in these doom and gloom conversations. It's scary.
Well, I mean,
it's scary.
I think me and Salty love these kind of conversations and blogs.
I don't mind. Like I do have. I mean, you look at Article 13. I know which one of us will get royally butt fucked if that comes in. Hi, do you like doing songs? Yeah, I liked it. Don't do it no more. Anyway, but like as Nick said in the chat, I think Epic will settle it. There's no way in the world. There's no way in the world they're going to let it go to court.
I don't think they will. I really don't because it is.
Yeah, but if they lose, it sets a precedent. There's no way they're going to risk
the precedent. But if they settle, it also sets the precedent.
I don't care. It's Epic Games. I hope they get sued.
No, yeah, but
the
settlement won't be public, Ryan.
No, but
that won't disclose how much they settled for.
No. But the fact that they settled sets the precedent that anybody else and any other entity can go in and say, well, hang on, like Destiny, this is fine emote, the coffee with the table on fire and all that sort of thing. The person who drew that to the beginning, are they going to go to Bungie and say, you are due to the Fortnite dancing content, all that sort of thing, you now have to pay me for royalties for me coming up with that idea.
This is an interesting conversation because some things like, okay, let's imagine you had the tags, right, in Call of Duty. Imagine if you could tag Pepe the Frog, right? Someone did draw that. An artist, what you would call them artists, someone drew that and created that character. That's no different from creating Mickey Mouse or creating Rick and Morty or creating any other cartoon. Right? Why should they not be compensated for that intellectual property?
No, they should be compensated for it, but it has been in free use. It has been in an open forum for so long. Yeah, for so long. Like if you and I, if you Log and I were going to, and Ninja, hello Ninja, in the chat, if this precedent comes through, we then have to trademark and copyright our emotes for stream? Will we have to copyright the way that our streams look and all that sort of thing? Don't roll your eyes at me, Log. I'm talking.
We're getting into that nth degree again, and I like.
Yeah, sure.
You can extrapolate to that point, but I don't know, man. It's a fucking slippery slope, and you're right.
It is.
I just don't know how I can sit here and go like, well, there's so much in it. It'll be very interesting. I will watch that case with a lot of interest. I'll say that.
There are now.
Guys, you probably will never hear about it, man. It will just fucking slip into the ether.
Yeah, when you consider that, guys, like Epic are just here is $15 million. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he'll sign.
That said,
backpack kid has a backpack full of cash. He's just cashed up.
We do here on the DDU for this is if this is the first time we do talk about Destiny quite a bit. But we also throw red herrings into a lot of red herrings into the mix. So please bear with us because I like going on tangents and Matt likes following me down that path and Log's like, hang on, come back. He grabs it.
I don't dislike it. It's just we start flying off the deep end into how everyone's going to be sued for having their own fucking emotes.
This is the kind of like discussions I like. I mean, maybe me and Sloth watch too much Jim Sterling and fucking. Like,
I haven't watched Jim Sterling for about a month.
And Sid Alpha and all that.
I need to brush up on my Sterling. That's why like the industry cynicism is just leaving my system. I need to jump back in and plug back in.
If the industry cynicism is leaving my body, I go back and watch the back catalogue of Total Biscuit stuff. It's great. But I think we've we could talk about like Matt and I could talk about this copyright stuff for a long time, but I think it's time to call it there for the time being, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. You know what? Let's just quickly, if anyone's got any really urgent questions before we get into this festive season, before we take a couple of weeks off, if there's anything that you would like to throw at. I mean, not like objects, but questions at us. Please do so in the chat. But dudes, it's been a fucking good year. It's been a good year for the cast. It's
really
been a good year for
100 episodes. Guys, also as well, if you have any ideas on some guests that you would like to, like we've got our ideas of guests that we would like to bring on. But if you would like to, if you have some ideas as a viewer that you have a content creator that you would like to bring on, mainly maybe an Australian content creator who hasn't been on the podcast before or something like that, please let us know. Let us know on Twitter at DDU_podcast at LogPowerSlave. He's the one that organizes all of that, all of that bollocks. If you, like I said before, if you have any questions, queries, doubtful points, or you want to tell us why our theories are wrong in regards to pulled pork and that cutscene,
don't worry,
please.
Tell
I know, but let us know in the YouTube comments, or if you actually want to get a response for us, add us on Twitter. Yeah, because I can tell you right now, I read the YouTube comments maybe once a fortnight, if not more.
I read them.
Log reads them though. Log reads them.
Yeah, if there's anything really important, I'll pull it out. I like everything, basically everything. Unless you're a dick, I won't like it. So if you look at your thing and it's been liked by either the DDU account or mine, because sometimes it just wigs out and it'll do both or neither or one or whatever, then it means I've read it and like I can't apologize. I can't reply to everything, but yeah, just don't be a dick, please.
A question from Jonathan R36. Thank you for hanging out, mate. I know it's early in the morning for you. Log Power Slave, did you get your creator emblem yet?
No.
Maybe get on that, bud. Maybe get on that.
Nothing's happened now.
I'm just waiting for Christmas Day. I'm going to message Damage on Christmas Day, and we're like, "What'd you get for Christmas, buddy?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah." And I'll be like, "Yeah, well, I didn't give a fucking." My Christmas is ruined.
A question from Mr. Green 16. Thank you for watching. Any of you guys going to GuardianCon 2019? I can say without doubt that I will not be attending GuardianCon 2019 because it would equal out to be about $7,800 Australian that I just don't have.
Yeah, I just don't have. Matt's got YouTuber money, so he's going.
I'll be there.
Matty's going. Log, I don't think you're going.
No, probably not. Not given the amount of work, like proper work I've got on this year, not even including all of this shit that I do outside of it. But we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I never write myself out of anything. I'm kind of a bit of a white ninja like that. I'll just, hey, guess what? I could make it after all. I'm here. Just turn up in fucking Orlando. I was like, what?
What? Who are you? Log Power Slave? Never heard of you.
Yeah, I mean, that's, accurate.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll call it there. But if you've enjoyed the content that we've made over the last 12 months, especially the 100 episodes and all that sort of thing, and if you've been watching week in, week out, or listening on our audio only platforms, thank you very much. It does mean more than a great deal to us, and to us and our guests and our community. It's been fantastic to be able to have these conversations and chat with people who love Destiny or just love video games in general, or try and put Australian Destiny content creators or even just content creators, Destiny content creators up there as well. Thank you. If you do celebrate Christmas, happy Christmas, Merry New Year. If you don't, happy holidays and happy New Year as well. Be safe and be well. Look after yourselves. Don't get into a fight with your family. And if you do, don't say anything you can't take back.
If you do, make sure you win.
Yeah, exactly.
Go for the eyes. Honestly, dudes, we're not back until next year. So have you thought about what your New Year's resolution is going to be?
I'm going to be the same old angry fat cunt that I am right now.
So Sloth's New Year's resolution is consistency. That's good, Matt. Have you got one?
Yeah, I do. None that I can share right now. Whew, secret.
Oh, okay, fine.
The CEO of Bungie is working on some goddamn.
No, I think next year is going to be a really big year for.
It's going to be a huge year
for Mylan Games, for what's being produced in the channel, for other projects, etc., etc.
Good stuff.
What about you, Log? Are you going to be the same crotchety prick?
For the most part, I've got two. One, just keep doing songs because I love doing it. And sometimes I get discouraged by the bullshit. And I've got Article 13 looming over my head at the moment. Once I know where I'm at with that, maybe I won't do any more songs. Who knows? But we'll see what happens with that. But the other thing I'm going to do, and this is the one thing that I've been threatening to do for a hell of a long time, is I'm going to start working on how to pull all of this Aussie Destiny shit together in a far more serious capacity than I have up to this point. And there's people that I've been speaking to about that on, just getting ideas and things like that. I've spoken to you, Per, about it. But I think the time is right. The time is nigh.
We need an Aussie uprising.
Yeah. And there's that many of us out there doing great things. I'm not saying that we are. I mean, Matt is, I suppose. And I kind of try. Sloth tries as well. But you look at all the people out there like Just Real Milk and Destiny Sets and fucking all that sort of shit. There's so many Aussies out there doing brilliant things, and I just want to get us all pushed in the same direction because we fucking deserve it. So that's it. That's it for 2018. Did you think at the start of the year that we'd all have been paid to go to fucking Sydney and play games together?
No.
Where are we going in 2019? Where are we going?
Honestly, I actually thought that I didn't think the podcast would last this long. Honest thoughts. Honest thoughts.
All right, Captain Positivity.
No. It's because of where Destiny was for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where Destiny was for a long time. So that's my thought process there. So we're here, we've made it, and here's to another 12 months of putting out content and going on tangents and yelling about shit. And well, that's just me, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
guys.
It's been a pleasure, dudes.
It has been a fucking pleasure. Thank you for your continued patronage watching on Twitch. Thank you for your continued patronage watching on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube and it's your first time here, please hit that like button. Maybe the subscribe button as well. I promise that you may like the content, and we do upload once a week, but if you feel so inclined, also hit the bell as well. To our audio only listeners, thank you very much. Whether you're listening to on the way to work, on the way home, while you're cleaning your house, or just background noise and you want to listen to something that you don't really have to think about because, we don't really think all that much here. Thank you. Muchly. Be safe, be well, and look after yourselves.
I have good news for everyone.
Yes.
Okay. The law is not going to find you this week. You can sleep safe. There's no law coming for you. The law has taken a week off. All right? Enjoy yourself.
But Santa's fucking coming for you.
All right. Peace. I stole your sign off, Matt. I say cheers, not peace.